Hello everybody and welcome to the next round of the Tower Racing Ring Runners here for season number 9. It's time for the highest speed car selection of the season. It's the GTP hypercar round of the championship, and I've got to say I've been looking forward to this one for quite some time. Some seriously quick lap times already having been set in qualifying to go along with and contrast with last week, where we had the Spec Racer Ford going actually on a longer lap time over just the Nordschleife than these lot can do over the Nordschleife and the Grand Prix circuit as well. Have a look at this. Corey Stas on pole, 7 minutes 10 over the course of the whole thing. Dean Diltz alongside with Dan McFarlane and Emma Crowd on row 2. Jason Hightower rounds out the top 5 with Scott Sadler, leader of the AMS in 6th place. Matthew Mayer and Dave Muller on row 4, head of Ray 2 and Dave Hernandez. Then you've got Dan Cosick and Stephen Johnson on row 6, and then you've got those who haven't set times, like Houston Elliott, who was, or not Houston, excuse me, he's the last of those who did set time. Zihan Liu is in 14th place at Pat Labrosse and Matt Green on row 8. Rick Putnam and Pat Mish on row 9. And Anthony Solomon, Chase Pettejohn and John Amico rounding out the 21 car field. This is going to be seriously high speed, James, I suspect, over the course of 4 laps here today.
I have been looking forward to this one. I think this is going to be absolutely amazing, and I'm hoping everybody will last till the end of the race. But that's just it. That's all I'm going to say. The great thing as well, Porsche, Caddy, Acura, BMW, Ferrari, all here. I'm looking forward. It'll be amazing.
Yep, all of them involved. Only Zihan Liu actually has not gotten onto the grid, so it's actually going to be 20 to start. But yeah, I think getting everyone to the end is going to be wishful thinking, but hopefully we get as many as possible at least. And hopefully we get some good racing as well. I've got literally no idea how these cars might interact with each other on the circuit, to be honest, and where even might be the best place to overtake.
No, I don't know. I can't answer that question, I'm afraid. I really don't know how they're going to get on. I think it's either going to be amazing or it's going to be a complete and utter chaos. I'm hoping it's not chaos. I'm hoping it is amazing. But you are right. Is it just going to be the dotting a hoe run? Is that what we're expecting every single time?
And is it even going to be possible there? You've got to remember that the reason that it's so powerful in the other cars is that they spend so long on the straight, which allows them to draft with each other, get up to the back of somebody else, and pass each other as well. So it could be a very different race indeed to what you might expect. It's certainly going to be different to last week, that is for sure, but nobody was expecting a similar race, I suppose, considering these 2 different car selections. It's time for the final prototype of the season. We had the HPD earlier on. Now time for the hypercars. The high-speed GTP and hypercars making their way to the Nordschleife for the first time in season 9. Here we go, up towards the line. The pace truck pulls in, and it's a long wait here from Corey Stas, who waits in the background. Somebody got off in the background. Stephen Johnson, who's been held up the rear by the looks of things and has gone back to pit lane. Stas, though, waits as long as possible before launching in towards turn number 1 and getting off to a good start ahead of Dean Diltz, who's on the inside line and gets through. McFarlane gets up the inside as well. Dan McFarlane to retain 3rd place ahead of Evan Crowell. Then it's Jason Hightower, who's retained 5th place as of right now. Oh, and he's off. Well, he did retain 5th place. Now he's off through turn 2, and it's carnage in the background. My goodness me, so much smoke, so many cars going around down at the back, and I'm afraid there's been some real losers in that one. Dan Cosick's dropped down the field, so is Hightower, obviously, as we saw. Stephen Johnson and Houston Elliott are already back to pit lane.
Yeah, Chase Pettejohn there, Houston Elliott, and also Patrick Mish, all getting involved in the chaos of turn 1, lap 1. Well, we were hoping we're going to get all of them to the end, but unfortunately it doesn't look like we are.
No, I don't think everyone was expected to get to the end, to be honest. I think that was always going to be a problem, always going to be difficult. As always, we'll have a look at the replays at the end. But Corey Stas has got off to a good start, at least. Dean Diltz in just behind him, but already the top 10 breaking away from the rest of the field because of everything that went on lap 1. And Stas is looking very comfortable, I've got to say, actually, at the front of the field now. Through up in towards the fast chicane at the end of the lap. And it's Matthew Mayo who's defending in the background, by the way, from Scott Sadler. He is just holding on to 5th place at the moment. To get onto the North side for the first time. Now back down the hill again towards the Hatzenbach, as Rick Putnam's got off the road by the looks of things at the end of the Grand Prix circuit. Oh no, he's got off in a big way, and he's been hit a couple of times as well. There's no rear end now on that Cadillac.
No, he's going to have to go back to pit lane. The problem is how long is going to be the tow? Can he get it all the way round? Is that caddy going to behave itself for him to get it round the rest of the circuit? But this is going to be the interesting one. Going into Nords for the first time, and I think now we're going to see what we've got here. I think this is going to be a power base. I think this is going to be a speed base. I think this could be an absolutely epic run down into Arenberg.
Here they go. Johnny Miko has also gone off by the looks of things, just through the Hatzenbach section. Anthony Solomon drops back to pit lane as well. Pat Mish is down there. Not sure if I mentioned that before. Pat Mish is down at the back, and now John Amico drops down there as well. Dave Mull out the race by the looks of things too. That's a quarter of the field already out of the race or in pit lane, which is a shame to see, but expected in some ways. Here goes Cravard on the back of Dan McFarlane, who only just retained 3rd place in towards turn 1. Cravard now trying to take it off him. Not able to quite on the way up towards Adnan Foss, but just look at the speed. It's quite phenomenal here. The speed at which these cars are able to carry through this circuit. Maybe it's just maybe I'm just noticing it a lot because it's a contrast to the last few weeks. But my goodness, these cars look very quick.
Yeah, they do. Hernandez was off in the background as well. The difference is the Spec Racer Ford gave us absolutely epic amount of racing, right? Didn't it? It gave us epic. It was probably one of the best races of the season, if not the best. These cars are completely different. One, stay off the curbs. You're in a low-heighted GTP prototype. Stay off the curbs, or you're going to be in trouble. I've got a funny feeling when we come back to look at the replays that have gone on, because at the moment, Solomon, Mole, Putnam, Patrick Mish, all involved, Petterjohn, Houston Elliott, all involved in incidents. I've got a funny feeling if some of them are in the Nords, it's going to be part of the curbs.
Yes, I would suspect so. As now they make their way through Exmuller. Cravard is so close behind. Here goes LeBros on Sadler, who's just going to be waving his white flag, I would suspect, and just saying, go on by, please, to all these pro drivers, as he leads the AM class by some distance at the moment, as he perhaps closes in on a championship. We'll wait and see on that front. Out of Bergvik they go. Cravard now right in the wheel tracks here of Dan McFarlane on the run up the hill. Now, this is going to be a very telling shot now. Is it possible to overtake on the way towards this fast left-hander? It looks like it might be. Oh, there's space on the left-hand side here. Oh, no. I think Cravard saw the lack of space there and thought, maybe not, actually. This could end in a plane crash. And so, thankfully, for everybody, he stays behind for the moment. But that does kind of suggest the one and only chance might even be into the Tiergarten at the end of the lap.
I've got the funny feeling, like we said, dying a hope. I don't think there's enough room to get 2 of these side by side. Mole, Elliott, Mish, Solomon and Amico all in points, and Jin Hao Lo did not take to the start. I think this is just going to be a dot on a hope fest. I think you've got to follow all the way through and make sure that you can get them there, because at the end of the day, they have got to go and do that long run. It's not wide enough. It clearly showed that on the run up into the carousel section. It's not wide enough for them to be able to go too wide. So, dotting a hoe, straight, stay with your person, get him on the next lap. The problem is you're going to get overtaken if he stays with you again for the next lap. So it's going to be, it could be a yo-yo effect going on here.
But it could be, yeah. But I think unlike some of the other cars, it is possible to break away as well. Like last week in the Spec Racer Ford, it didn't really seem possible to break away at times from the slipstream. So that's going to be a positive here for whoever is trying to come through. On board we go now with the Cadillac. You can just see how low to the ground it is, by the way. This is exactly why you have to avoid the curbs, other than that one there, which you can get up over on pretty much every car in the world. Through here, you don't want to be touching these, jumping over the over Flansgarten. That's expected to see, but no hint of a rise through here. The car will be planted to the ground. Of course, these cars have a lot of downforce. And another thing that's going to be very telling is the level of downforce which these guys have both put on here.
Which is the normal problem we have, right? It's always about how open setups, that's the thing. It's always about how much downforce the car in front has got compared to the car behind. Now, we've seen massive effects, sometimes 2 seconds effects on the downforce situation. What are we going to be here? Is McFarlane running more than Krautfeld? Is Krautfeld running less? Well, we're going to find out in a very, very short minute now what this situation is going to be. Let's have a look at the top speeds.
Racing up towards 200 miles an hour now on the Dottinger Herd. It looks like the Porsche up ahead here has got the legs maybe on the straight. Further behind, Matthew Mayer and Pat Labrosse are going the side by side. No, they're just nose to tail at the moment. There they are. Labrosse can't seem to duck out of the slipstream here at the moment. Maybe these two are on similar setups. Now he's going for it on the way towards the Tigon. Blimey, this is going to be quite something. Through the fast corners at the end of the... My goodness me. That was commitment. Pat Labrosse. He just made it work. He's up to 5th place now, but they gave each other a lot of respect there, and they absolutely had to, because that was extremely high speed and extremely close to disaster.
Absolutely, it was. They had to keep it clean. The interesting thing is coming down that straight, did you see all the particles that they were spitting up in the air off these cars? It's one of the things that they've got to look out for as well with a new particle situation is dealing with stuff like that. That is going to be one of the things. But now this is the interesting thing for Labrosse. Can he escape Mueller and get onto the back of Krautfeld and McFarlane? Krautfeld seems to be running higher downforce, does not seem to be able to get as much speed going past McFarlane as McFarlane had on that straight.
Yeah, it does appear like that at the moment. But having said that, he's losing time early on in the Grand Prix circuit here, so I wonder whether it is as simple as that or whether there's something more going on here. Of course, these are two different manufacturers as well. It should be noted. Porsche versus Cadillac. In fact, it's only Porsche and Cadillac in the top 7 at the moment. First different manufacturer is Dave Fernandez, who's in the Acura in 8th place at the moment, followed by Ray Teo in the BMW. Unfortunately, both Ferraris are down on pit lane at the moment, getting some repairs done. A whopping 6 drivers are down there getting repairs done in pit lane at the moment, but thankfully they're all still in the race at least. Stephen Johnson's back in the race. He's 14th at the moment and at the back of the field, but none of those 6 have left yet. They might just come out again a little bit later on, come out of the pit lane. We'll see. One of them is Rick Putnam. He's certainly going to need to come out pit lane and get some points.
Yeah, he definitely is. Is he going to come out in pit lane? How bad is it for Putnam? How bad is the situation down there in is he had to tow back and he's got to wait? He's going to be there. Well, at the moment, Rick Putnam in the pit lane for 4.5 minutes. And he crashed halfway round, so that's a tow as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's auto, I would imagine, because everyone's got a fast repair, so I'd imagine that it is all to do with that. But yeah, it does take a very long time around this circuit. Now, is this going to be a better chance maybe for Evan Kretmar to make a move? He was really close down the Foxrow last lap, and this is just after Arenberg, of course, that section of corners. So is he going to be able to maybe make his way through here and pull away through the north side? Doesn't quite look like it again there. I wonder where he is going to make this move now if he's not willing to do it there. It's not going to happen at the end of the lap. Where is it going to happen here? Down the hill, he's not quite as close as he was last time. And in any case, he wouldn't want to be going side by side up over the top of the hill here. Although having said that, Mayer and Labrosse managed it through the final section of corners. Crowd's certainly going to be looking over his shoulder, though, because Pat Labrosse, speaking of him, is catching up there in 5th place, now 1.9 seconds behind.
The thing is, Krautfeld, in a bad way, and I say this in complete and utmost respect, he has to do it in the Nords. He clearly has not got the speed to do it on the Dottinger Hoe. So he's got to do it here, because then he needs the rest of the lap to try and escape McFarlane, who's going to get him on the straight. So Krautfeld at the moment is in a really bad spot because he knows he's carrying high downforce and he's got to do it in the Nords. There's no choice for him other than the actual track. He can't do it on the straight, Ewan. He can't get him on the straight. He's got to get him inside.
Yeah, it's Putnam, actually. He's got his car repaired quickest, by the way. He's back out in 15th place. That's a potential 5 points he's gained there by getting out there first of the 6. So he'll be running around very long, very lonely. Look at him on the track map there, just down at the bottom. He's all on his own, but he's out the pit lane. Yeah, I don't see where this is going to happen for Krautwald at the moment, really. It's certainly not going to happen after that at Bergwerk. And Labrosse now is going to catch up. In fact, he is gaining time here. You can see in the mirror, he's very much a feature now in this onboard. So you just look up to the top right and see Labrosse there, just 8/10 of a second behind. He just gained a bit more up this bit, does Krautwald. On the way towards the Muck Curve, he gains a little bit more. Not sure really why that is, to be honest. Slipstream maybe taking more of an effect when they're on that uphill run. Now he's right back to where he was before, just in behind him here before the carousel. Imagine this is pretty uncomfortable for these hypercars. The carousel, here we go, on the brakes, second gear. Don't clip the apron, but also don't go too high either. Very nicely done from the three of them as they managed to stay within the bounds of the carousel. And now back towards the highest point on the circuit and the plunge back downhill again towards the start-finish line. This is going to be Krautwald setting himself up, perhaps even just to hold on to fourth place rather than actually trying to make an overtake.
Yeah, because Labrosse is closed in. Labrosse is tucked in right behind him, and at the end, at the moment, if Labrosse is going to be faster, then he's going to get through. There's nothing Krautwald's going to be able to do. He will be a literal sitting duck when Labrosse starts running at him. And it's going to be tough for him at the moment. If he manages to hold on, I reckon, to at least fifth, maybe even sixth if Mueller gets some good traction together.
Yeah, it doesn't quite look like Mueller's got the speed here of Labrosse. He wasn't able to go with him, really. And so Labrosse is in the conversation now for a podium again. So he closes in now, maybe even on a championship himself as well. He's certainly putting himself in a good position to do so. Look at how close he's getting here to his fellow Cadillac. No manufacturer difference between fourth and fifth at the moment. McFarlane in the Porsche out front, of course. They make their way now through the fast end of the lap on board here with Pat Labrosse into the small carousel. A lot more comfortable in these cars. And now towards Galvencott. Very important corner indeed. Look at the speed they carry through there. Pretty much 150 miles an hour on the first apex and the way through as well. The G-force is being pulled there, probably quite significant. On board and up to seventh, then we go. And surely Labrosse is on a hiding to nothing there. He's pulled out to the right-hand side. He's got no slipstream, whereas Krautwald certainly does. However, it's not seeming to matter at the moment. He's not quite alongside anymore. Now then, he needs to tuck back in again and maybe have another go down the hill. If it's going to happen, his momentum's been knocked back a bit and Pat Labrosse can't quite do it. It's going to be very hard for him to do it while Krautwald's in McFarlane's slipstream.
Do we think Putnam and Krautwald are, not Krautwald, sorry, Labrosse and Krautwald are running similar downforce settings here? Because Krautwald struggled a lot to get near McFarlane on the straight, and Labrosse couldn't get Krautwald. However, he's gone side by side into turn one, and Labrosse has gone through.
That's a very good move down the inside at turn one. Saw the lock-up from Krautwald almost as if he wasn't expecting it there, just snagged a break. And Labrosse moves up to fourth, just in behind Dan McFarlane. So very good overtake indeed. And now he's got the runner out of the Mercedes arena as well, in towards turn five. He has a look and he's not going to go for it there. I don't know, I think Labrosse has a bit less wing on than Krautwald. Maybe not as little as McFarlane does. However, I think he's got a little bit less than Krautwald, but the problem was always going to be, if Krautwald stays in the slipstream of the Porsche, no one's going to be able to overtake him because of the way that works. So that was always going to be very difficult. That's why Labrosse had to do it at turn one.
Yeah, he did. And now the difference is if McFarlane gets on to Nords in front of Labrosse, is this going to be a follow my leader right the way through to the dot and a hoe again? Because as we've seen, there's not enough room. They have to stay liney. So is that what we're going to be witnessing now? Or is Labrosse going to actually be able to make the move going in through Nords?
It's difficult to say at the moment. I think the race has shown so far that it's very, very difficult. Even as I look at the very first corner of the Nord side for there, not quite able to do it, as now they make their way back down the hill again and towards another lap. Now, where are the chances here for Labrosse? Haven't seen anybody overtake into Arenberg yet this race. Will he be the first? He's quicker. Maybe he does have more downforce on than McFarlane as well here. It does seem a lot slower through these corners into Hohenheisen. Not going to move down the inside there, although there was definitely a chance. Oh, a bit of a slide. That could have been right at the wrong moment here. Labrosse needed a better run than that, and he's a quarter of a second behind now.
Yeah, he's going to have to wait and see if he can close in. That's going to be the problem. Is he going to be able to have the speed to stay with him? He's going to use that draft. He's going to pull it in 2-3, 2-2, 2-1. Down below 2 tenths we go. Still got quite a long way to go coming into Arenberg. How is this going to work out for Labrosse? This is really the only other option. They're going to race around the corner. Labrosse does try, goes around the outside. He manages to get knocked through. Still trying side by side. Now they're going to go side by side down the hill. This could be dangerous.
Oh, it is dangerous. There's contact. Oh, they've held on. Unbelievable save there from McFarlane, who's still in front here. But Labrosse is on the inside line for the left-hander, and he's got the place. Here comes Cravant as well. In towards Sandner first. What a battle this is. Side by side. Evan Cravant knew that was his chance. McFarlane has thrown himself off the road in defence of that position. What an unbelievable battle between those three drivers. As McFarlane somehow held it on the straight and narrow. Somehow Cravant got round the outside as well of the second part. Labrosse got round the outside of the first part, and they all survived to come out the other side. That was unbelievable racing between the three of them.
Wow. You can't get over how well that was. That could have gone completely wrong. McFarlane could have been in the wall buried and bits of that Porsche going off all over the place. They have done a great job to keep that going as they did do. The problem for us is that now the battles have rescinded and everybody's spread out. So, you know, Ray Teo, who's just started closing in on David Anders.
Yeah, and Hernandez is closing in on Sadler as well here. Their gaps actually aren't that big. I know there's not under a second, but they're not big at all. Jason Hightower had a spin on the opening lap, of course, and we'll see that at the end of the broadcast. But he's in the top 10 again, and I reckon he is quicker than a lot of the drivers who are just up ahead of him here. Perhaps even the next 5, as McFarlane has gone slightly wide there at Bergwerk. He's lost a bit more time, 2.5 seconds behind. Maybe Matthew Mayo will be catching in. I actually didn't think he would manage it, but maybe he will late on here. We'll see on that front. But as I say, these gaps are not many under a second, but also not many big gaps either in the top 10, actually. Biggest one is just 6 seconds. That's for the lead.
Yeah, everything above is free, below that 13 to green. But it's all about what Tio's going to be able to do here, I think, with Hernandez. To be honest with you, I'm a bit upset the Ferraris crashed. I've got to be honest. I was really looking forward to seeing the Ferraris up there. But never mind.
Yeah, Pat Mace is out the race, unfortunately. And it looks like Houston Elliott won't be returning. He's been in the pit lane for 19 minutes so far. I would imagine he's not going to be racing any further. As these drivers make their way up towards the highest point of the circuit. But McFarlane started to really fall apart here after losing third place. Matthew Mayo is right behind him now. As Ray Teo catches up to Dave Hernandez as well. So there is going to be a lot going on here late on, but you've got to remember there's not long in the race. This is absolutely flown by because these cars are absolutely flying. Just under half an hour of racing effectively here for this round. And, well, Mayer has got that amount of time and no longer to get ahead of McFarlane. But is he going to run into the same problems that the others did in terms of straight line speed?
Yep. Well, we're going to find out, hasn't he? McFarlane's dropped back now. He has dropped into the hands of Matthew Mueller. Now, we said Mueller might get Krautfeld, but he might actually get McFarlane. So keep an eye out. Matt's got to, I think from McFarlane's point of view, he's got to calm down. He's settle down a little bit. You went a little bit squirrely, fair play. Now get on with it. And for Dan, he's just got to relax and see how he gets on. This is going to be so hard to defend, I think, because Mueller does look like he's quicker.
Well, it just depends, really, where he tries to make the move. If it's going to be on the straight, then I don't think he's got much chance. I think McFarlane is very quick in a straight line in the Porsche. However, try somewhere else. Much like we saw with the others, with Labrosse and Kraut, then maybe there's a bit more of a chance, but we'll wait and see as they make their way now down the straight and on the way towards the Tiergarten. He's closing in here, Mayer. Maybe he's got the low downforce on as well here. Look at the way he's closing up now. This is not something we've seen very much of here today. Under the bridge, he's going to have a lot of overspeed. He's going to be through here on the outside line. He's going to get through in towards the Tiergarten here. He's got the momentum. He's got his nose in front. Oh, they give each other the respect. And oh, Mayer there just breaks too late. He's going to go into the side of him here. There's contact between the two of them. It's a miracle we haven't seen that so far tonight, to be honest. But there's contact on the penultimate lap. McFarlane holds on to 5th. Here comes Scott Sadler. He's 6th. Now Mayer is down to 7th. Hernandez and Tier are bringing their battle into this as well. And look at the suspension there. Look at the front left of the Cadillac. It is absolutely out of shape. Look at it. Turning right to go straight, and there's contact now. There's more contact between Hernandez and Mayer. Hernandez might as well carry on, to be honest, because his front left here, Matthew Mayer, is absolutely toast.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, it does not look good.
That's the one that is working. But that's doing all the work at the moment, unfortunately. Oh, dear me. That is way out of shape. You don't need me to tell you that.
Why did he carry on?
I presume it was so late that he didn't know he had the damage, I suppose.
Well, he definitely has. And it's bad. So if I was Hernandez, just get on the back of him and stay with him. Dean Dilts, Pat Labrosse closing in for the final lap. Got Sadler closing in on Dan McFarlane. Two little battles that could materialise over the final lap here.
Yeah, I think this one's more likely for second place. I think Sadler's going to have the speed to stay with McFarlane, but I could be proved wrong. Never know. Labrosse, though, has certainly shown himself to be very quick indeed. I think he's going to be disappointed he didn't do better in qualifying, because he's clearly got great speed, but when you start down at the back, especially in this category, by the looks of things, it's very difficult to work your way through. So started the race down in 15th place. I don't know whether he was not allowed to qualify or what went on there, but he is now 3rd, should be 2nd, and that would be 13 places gained on the day.
Yeah, it'd be a stunning job from Pat Labrosse. I'm just checking on... See. Oh. Seeing if there was any penalties. But I haven't seen anything. Not sure. Pat Labrosse.
I mean, it's possible that he just didn't get a lap in. You know, it's entirely possible. So we'll see. But yeah, that was the moment at which he knew that he wasn't going to be able to win the race. The fact that he's even in contention for 2nd place is very impressive. But it could have been a little bit more. Sadler's now ahead of McFarlane. I think there was a mistake from the driver of the Porsche there. That was very sudden where he lost the place, and now he's on the back of Scott Sadler here in 5th. Scott Sadler a long way ahead in the AM class. He's quite a long way ahead in the championship as well, but even further ahead in this race. Labrosse gets through, meanwhile, on Dilts. Where did he manage that? Up towards Adnan Forst, I suppose. That was pretty brave. Yeah, he did. Well, that's pretty impressive. So up to 2nd place. That might be the limit now for Labrosse, but what a performance. He's what a way to limit the damage as well that Corey Stas is going to do to him in the championship here. Just one position ahead of him. Yeah,
it's not going to be too dramatic. McFarlane, however, closing in the back end of Sadler. Tio. Ooh! Tio there as well. This could be an interesting run to the end here.
Certainly could. Looks down the inside. McFarlane not able to do it on Scott Sadler this time round. Ray Teo just in behind, and Jason Hightower just even further. They go through the fast right-hander. Miss hit miss. Oh, so just a little bit wide there for McFarlane. Oh, he would have been in trouble there, but he gets away with it. And now Sadler goes wide himself. A lock-up in the background from Hightower by the looks of things, or somebody anyway, as he tries to close in on these three. This is going to be absolutely on here for the top 5 positions in the final lap of the race.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a run down the Dottingham. Who's got what, who can do what, and who's going to be out of speed who. I can tell you one thing. There's not, could well be not a lot of difference between the two of them. So all 3 of them, I should say. Ooh. So McFarlane, can Tio stay in? Hernandez back at Mueller at the same time.
I think Sadler, I thought Sadler was pulling out the way there, just as if to say, please go past me because I don't want any part of this. I don't want to crash and lose the race win here in the AM class. He does pull over to the left-hand side again here. Is that in defence or not? McFarlane in the slipstream, not getting really anywhere up the hill. Now he gets alongside, in towards the curve. He just backs out of it. And that's the sensible thing to do. Looks like it's going to be settled on the way to the back straight by the looks of it.
Going all the way to the Dottingham. That is basically where we're going to see it. It's going to be a three-car fight. I'm predicting 3 wide down the Dottingham, 3 wide into Tiergarten, and a big smash.
Okay.
I haven't seen this, by the way. Just saying.
Don't forget that McFarlane has already been hit into the Tiergarten by the Cadillac, of course. And there's Sadler, breaks early and lets McFarlane through. That looks like it's a secure top 5 then for Dan McFarlane. Ray 2, Scott Sadler and Jason Hightower are all going to be fighting for 6th place by the looks of it here. Unless McFarlane's going to be pegged back maybe by the AM leader.
Yeah, we're going to find out here, but I don't know if Tio's going to be able to hold this one on. Oh, he held it. Good job, lad. That was spectacular.
That was quite spectacular. Big save. Quite a badly timed comment from you.
What?
Well, badly timed or well timed, depending on who you ask. Yeah, good save. Gets away with it, but unfortunately, that's the end of 6th place for him. It might mean 6th place confirmed for Scott Sadler here, who's now 1.3 ahead of Jason Hightower.
Yep. Sadler should be able to hold on as long as he doesn't make any form of dramatics. That'll be a great run from him. Let's see how close he can get to McFarlane, whether or not he actually can here for Scott Sadler. He's driven really well. Really, really well.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, another driver who's driven really well, and we haven't seen very much of, has been Corey Stas. Actually doesn't have the fastest lap of the race, by the way, because Pat Labrosse has been on such a charge and he's lost some time on this last lap as well. However, he did what he needed to do. Position to begin with, and a race win at the end of it as well. A good season for Corey Stas, getting even better here with his first race win of the season. Through the final corners for the final time. And Corey Stas is going to win the hypercar round of the Tail Racing Ring Runners here in Season 9 in a dominant display in the Porsche. Weaves over the line. Very pleased with his efforts this afternoon, and why not as well. Pat Labrosse, meanwhile, comes over in 2nd place. Scott Sadler, meanwhile, is going to be the AM winner. Where is he going to finish, though? Is it going to be behind McFarlane? It certainly is. The last lap in the end doesn't end in a big smash, which is a good thing. But it's going to end with Scott Sadler in the win for the AMs, and he's going to be now a long way ahead in the championship.
Yeah, he will be. But Dave Hernandez, he's done that at the end. Oh, Dan. Oh, Dave, what are you getting yourself up to? We'll have a look back at that after this as well. I'm going to put on the 2 overtakes of Scott Sadler and Dan McFarlane and Pat Labrosse and Dean Dilts because I want to see how they happened. Quite sure what that car was up to. But there's a couple of cars that are still to finish. We're hopeful that Dave Mole, who is right the way around the other side of the track, will get this job done.
Anthony Solomon hasn't finished yet either, by the way. He's just coming onto the north side. So, long time to wait for him, I think. Have I read that right? Yeah, I think so. So, yeah, long time to wait for him. There's minutes-long gaps back here. Chase Petrod's just about going to finish 2nd in the AMS, by the way. He's only a couple of seconds ahead of Stephen Johnson, who had to pit in early on. We're going to find out soon what happened to him as well, actually. We saw a bit of a tie-up in the background. I think you saw it much better than I did, because I was focusing on the front and when the green flag was going to fly. But there seemed to be a right old smash-up down the back, and Stephen Johnson had to pit in after the formation lap there and take his fast repair, which was a bit odd.
Yeah, that's got something to do with Anthony Solomon, I think. Now, Anthony, if you've watched this back, I do apologise. But we'll have a look back and see if it's definitely that. But yes, he did go off track, and he did have to go into pit lane before we'd even gone green.
Yeah, never the best way to start your race. Rick, oh dear, bit wide here for Dave Moore. Rick Putnam is going to be next over the line, finishing in 14th place. Actually a good recovery for him. I guess he's showing the dangers of starting down at the back of the field. Started 17th, but although He might have ended up in the wall coming onto the north side, self-inflicted. Again, we'll see that in a couple of moments' time as well. But this is a big blow for Rick Putnam, the reigning champion of this series, because already coming into these rounds, he's been quite a long way behind the likes of Pat Labrosse. If you're looking at points per round that they've been at, Putnam's been struggling a little bit, even though he's been very consistent. And, you know, I certainly thought at the start of the season, first 4 rounds, wasn't outside the top 4. I thought, you know, building a consistent championship. But actually, Labrosse is showing himself to not only be consistent, but actually finishing better off more often than not. And so Rick Putnam's got work to do, but at least he got back out there after his crash, and he got 14th place. As I said at the time, he could have finished as low as 20th after that incident.
Yeah. I think this is the situation, as you say, with Putnam. What has he got to do? You know, at the moment he's 30, I think it's something like 32 points or 22 points behind. Corey Stas, Labrosse, Kosick all in front of him. Hard for Putnam, I think.
Yeah, it certainly is. We haven't unfortunately been able to show you the points in the before or after this this round. We're waiting to see when they're going to be updated, but I suspect he's going to show at Labrosse at the top of the standings. Of course, we'll apply the 3 drop weeks as well, and we'll get into the last 3 weeks of the season. We are rapidly closing in on those now. The BMW M2 CSR is in 7 days' time, and then the GT3 class is the final of the races. That's on the 24-hour layout. That one. I did hear a rumour, by the way, that one's going to be in the dark. Don't know whether that's true or not. Certainly there was discussions about whether the GT4s was going to be in the dark. The drivers voted against that in the end, but it might even be in the dark. We'll wait and see on the front for the GT3s, but that's a way to end February, and then Duck Week, of course, at the end of the season.
I don't. You know, you mentioned dark, and I get scared. Because I'm afraid of the dark in iRacing at Nords, because it is dark. There's no lights, apart from on the start-finish straight. Would you want to see darkness?
I don't particularly mind. I don't. I don't have to figure out the pictures side of things. I just talk, so I don't mind. Although I wouldn't be able to see very well what's going on. That is just a room, by the way. I might have just made that up. To be honest, I don't think I have, but I might have done. So we'll find out in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I think it's a great challenge for the drivers. I mean, I know it doesn't make it very easy for us to see, but really great challenge for the drivers, because as you say, there are no lights around this circuit. Can't really see where you're going. That's the beauty of the 24-hour race round here, anyway. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I mean, you have slightly different opinions then. I don't know. Oh
dear. Anthony Solomon. Well, I think he's secured 16th anyway, but
look at the state of that.
Oh dear. I've got to say, the new damage model is quite good, isn't it? I mean, look at that.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of iron kinks to iron out with it, but that's one way of
he's driving
finishing.
on 3 wheels quite well at the moment. I can't imagine what scraping that
Coming to the
that's been done there.
grinding. I wonder if we can hear it in the car.
Oh, the wheel not making sure he can't see where he's going when he turns left. That's good as well.
No, you can't really.
This car's going very fast for a car with 3 wheels, I've got to say. I was talking about the aesthetics, by the way, when I was saying the damage model looks very good. Not necessarily the realism of it, but
yeah, it does look
anyway,
good. I get what you mean. It does look good. It's just, yeah. I think for me, the frustrating bit is where it pops off, pops back on. You know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Harry Potter's been waving a wand.
More of an internet thing than anything else, though.
Oh yeah, maybe. Does look good though, doesn't it? But Porsche have never seen their car finish like that.
I wouldn't have thought so, no. But there you go.
Goes rumbling
Full
down.
Porsche livery as well, by the way. Solomon doesn't even have his own. So he makes his way now down towards the end of the lap. Remarkably, hasn't been lapped This is... well, this lap's not going to count, and so he's going to have no laps that have counted at the end of the day. Oh dear, he's got off Dave Fernandez style. I think that black line there was Dave Fernandez locking up, actually, into the final corner there, so we'll have a look at that in a moment. But anyway, Solomon finally does make it towards the line and over the line.
Yep.
And just about gets to the finish, but only just in the end, very narrowly. So race results with Corey Stas winning the race. He misses out on the fastest lap, by the way, which will go to Pat Labrosse. Oh, that's gone back to the start. Now I don't know what the results were.
This is going to be the beginning of the replay. Unfortunately, the replay finished. Right. That's why we froze.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I've had to just.
We've been chatting for so long. We've never managed that before. Anyway, Pat Labrosse has finished second at Dean Dilts with Evan Crowd and Dan McFarlane rounding out the top 5. Scott Sadler wins in the AMS, 6th place for him ahead of Jason Hightower, with Ray 2 having that big slide on the last lap, finishing down in 8th. Matthew Mayer and Dave Hernandez round out the top 10 with Dan Kosick 11th. Chase Petterjohn and Stephen Johnson battled it out for the final podium places in AM. They finished 12th and 13th ahead of Rick Putnam and Dave Mull. Matt Green finishing 1 lap down. Anthony Solomon not being credited with that lap. Maybe he was a lap down anyway, I'm not sure. John Amico finished in 18th place, along with the other retirees. Houston Elliott was one of them. And also, who was the other one? Somebody else. Anyway, down at the back of the field, finishing, unfortunately, way down. Pat Maish, that's who it was. And, of course, Zia Lu, who didn't start. Now then, are these replays going to work?
Yes.
Are we going to be able to see what happened?
They are going to work. This is Anthony Solomon apparently at the start, but I don't know what he actually...
I think it was right on the way to... I think it was right on the front straight. I didn't think it was back here, but I could be wrong.
Bit of a weird one, but I'm going to jump forward because I don't think this is starting to the Johnson.
No. Here we go. So big stack up here. And he gets run over there by... Oh, that's
Labrosse.
That's Pat Labrosse.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. This is what happened to Jason Hightower. He was the first to spin, but he was the first of many. And he was just on the outside line. Whee! Cold tyres. And went straight around. So he was not involved in the rest of this that was all going on back there. He drives really wide, actually, on the outside just to avoid it all. Now then, where does it all begin here? Now Chase Petterjohn's going to arrive on the scene.
We go back a minute. I think that might have been a Matt Green situation.
I think you're right. It was missing its front end by the end of it, anyway. So, he goes for a spin as well. In a very similar way to Hightower. So it wasn't him who was missing the front end. That's how Labrosse gained so many places. Goodness me.
Was that?
Houston Elliott was another one who went for a spin, that's for sure. He was on the inside of the corner instead.
He was Houston Elliott.
Yeah, he got smacked.
Hold your brakes, son. No? That's not.
I think there's Matt Green who... sorry, not Matt Green. Stephen Johnson who smashed into him. Oh, no, it wouldn't have been Stephen Johnson, would it? He's at the back. Anyway, it was one of the BMWs. And so they all... Pat Mace there, turn 3. Going for a spin as well. And then he had a very, very crooked rear end. Dear oh dear, that car was going to be a difficult one to get back, and so he had to retire, unfortunately, after lap 1.
Yeah, now this is Putnam and Solomon. Just then, this is what we caught the end of.
No.
Putnam goes around, bang. That was with Dave Mull as well.
Oh. And that's how Solomon had a misshapen Porsche as well. Solomon got a bit of damage in that. That was a bit rash from putting them down the inside, to be honest, considering the cold tyres and everything. There's Solomon, as I say, with that damage already from hitting the wall as he was trying to scrape past, and then he hit the wall again down here at Hatzenbach. Oh, and he got clipped there by an Acura. Went and off in the background, one of the Cadillacs as well. Goodness me, what a messy opening to this race.
Yeah, I don't know if that might have been Chase Petterjohn. Yeah, it looked like it may have been. Yellow of Chase. So that's... Oh, it went round on his own.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, these cold tyres are absolutely lethal by the looks of it. Oh, dear. This is way too quick for Rick Putnam, for someone with no rear wing.
Oh, he's going to
On the
know about
brakes.
it in a minute.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there you go. So that's why he had such a long tow. If he'd have towed from where he initially crashed first time round, it would have been less. But he still finished as high as he could have done anyway. But that was a long tow after that.
Sure what happened to John and Miko right at the beginning, coming out of the pit
don't tell
lane
me.
there. Locks up, going down one. No dramatic effect. But then, unfortunately for John, he went off after and jumped back to pit lane. So he's hit the curb, bang.
Oh, dear me.
Mate.
Big smash there. And that would have ended his race, not just because he gave up, but his repair time there would have been too large probably for him to get back out again during the race. Pat Mace over the curb on the inside. That's exactly why you don't touch the curbs in these cars. And that sees the Ferrari into the wall for the second time.
Yeah, that was on lap 1. Now, I will tell you, between lap 2 and lap 3, it was quiet. The lap 2 was quiet. Now, this is the McFarlane going up the hill.
Oh.
Remember when we went up the hill and they were battling? McFarlane ends up going over the grass. So just a slight little bit goes in too hot and unfortunately running through. Now, this unfortunately led into Matthew Mueller having a big old incident.
Yeah, he did actually finish in the top 10, by the way, after this. Just a slight bit of contact initially there, and then bang at the end. Big smash at the end there, and it's and you'll see the front left in a minute. There it is. It's very, very broken indeed. So then from then on, Mayo was a bit of a passenger. Although he did get hit by Hernandez, who was a bit surprised to see him. Thought he was being let down the inside almost there, and Hernandez had to wait for him. He would end up finishing behind him actually in the end.
Yeah, I would have been surprised to see him there as well. Matt Green in a beautiful livery goes and smashes it up. Look at that.
Oh dear, he just...
Oh, there's another one there without even anything on it. Who's car number 11?
Dear, oh dear.
Oh, that can't be right. Darlu is not Bravo Me Sports there as well. John Amico ends up going back to pit lane. Now, one of the things... Oh, hold on. I did want to miss it, but I think this is where we're going to look seeing Dave and Anders go off.
Yeah, right at the end.
Yeah, big lock
Bit
up.
too late on the brakes. Ooh, and he's glad it's the last lap.
Yeah, this is the Sadler-Dilt situation. Remember when we said, oh, I wonder how we got through? That's how.
Mistake. That's McFarlane. Yes.
Sadler-McFarlane, sorry, yeah, but McFarlane put it in the wall.
That solves that mystery then. He did actually get back past again and end up in the position. Now this is going to be quite an overtake to behold. Oh my word, down the inside. A bit of contact, but that's absolutely fine. That was aggression in the right way from Pat Labrosse. Fantastic overtaking manoeuvre there. Him towards Adnar Fost. He put on some great ones as well here. And there's Hernandez at the very end of the race again. This is Solomon, as we saw live. He was having
yeah.
trying
to see if I
an
could
interesting end.
find out what. How far?
Oh, probably years. I would have
It's
thought.
not years. Years. Poor little Anthony Sullivan. Where are you at the moment, dude? Right, it might have been years. All right, well, that would be the last ones on that one.
Yeah, he was having a bad race from quite some time, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, he definitely was.
Got that damage initially on the opening lap, of course, where his front end was broken, and then eventually crashed over the top of the hill at just before the Stefan Belafes, and that was the end of that for him. So he unfortunately ended the race with 3 wheels on his wagon. But anyway, we'll leave him be. We'll spare his blushes later on.
There you go.
Because he did make it to the end after all, which is more than could be said for some drivers. Well, that's it for the GTP Hypercar round of the championship. It was pretty fast and furious, but an incident filled certainly early on. I think everybody probably found this the biggest challenge of the season, if I could speak for them. I'm just presuming that just by watching it. I think this was actually a bit more difficult round even than something like the V8 supercars or something like that. I think this is very difficult for everyone to get to grips with.
I think the speed difference played a massive part. Like, I seriously think this car was too quick for some people. And I honestly believe that. I think it just may have been a little bit too quick for some people to be able to handle.
Yeah, and the cold tyres as well at a circuit, actually, which is not very easy to get going on, the Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit. The World Endurance Championship doesn't come here anymore, and it hasn't done since we've used these cars, but very difficult to get these cars going again on cold tyres at those low speeds where these cars are really really heavy and clunky. So, yeah, well done to everyone who got to the end, and actually only 4 retirements of those who started is pretty good going for us. So, well done to everybody on that. That is it for this round of the Tail Racing Ring Runners. We'll be back next week with the BMW M2 CSR round as we take on the more touring car style machines from here to the end of the season. That's it for the prototypes. The hypercars and the HPDs have been used and binned now for the season. So we'll see whether they come back again next time around. But a good round of the Tail Racing Ring Runners as we close in on the finale now with just 3 weeks to go. Make sure you join us next week for the next round. I've been Ewan alongside Parfitt. Until we see you next week for round number 10, it's goodbye for now.